and like lights
stuff you could assemble, and sometimes you could little, and I remember those days fondly. And then I'm sitting here going, "Really, guys, what's going on?"
Do you guys have Kinder eggs over there?
No.
We have Kinder eggs here.
Yeah. It's the same with Kinder eggs. It's like when I was little, they were like proper good toys in there that you could assemble and stuff like that. And now they're really, really shit. It's like, here, have a bookmark. Yeah, thanks.
Like I care.
It's like Hanukkah. Instead of the 12 days of Christmas, you have all of your days of school supplies.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, here, have a miniature pen that you can't write with because it's too fucking small. It's like, no, fuck you. They are trolling kids. They really are.
Well, kids are too young to understand the troll.
Yeah, well, most kids deserve to be shot anyway, so it's fine.
Except for mine and Vicious's kids. We have awesome kids.
Now I am an awesome kid.
Vicious goes, I'm not going to say anything about that.
I had a feeling he was going to stay quiet.
No, my kids are good, but they're terrorists.
They're terrorists, did you say?
They are. They're terrorists. Well,
my kids invoke
from
the rule of
someone's calling
intellectual
me.
challenge.
Well, it's from two moms, and if I have just the two or just the other two, it's okay. But when I have all four together, it's like mixing. You know, the saying oil and water don't mix. Well, it's like with my kids, it's like mixing oil and fire.
Fire and high explosives. There you go.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, I found nitroglycerin at work last night.
Ooh.
That sounds like it could have been adventurous.
It sounds like an amazing plan.
It wasn't mine, so I just held on to it for someone to come claim it. Apparently, it's prescribed for medical reasons. I've always known it to be explosive.
Yeah, it's like everybody knows about its explosive properties. Not a whole lot of people realize that it is actually prescribed as a medical thing.
Yes, here, consume this high explosive. It'll make you better.
You heard none of the Swedish.
Nope.
No.
Good. But you wouldn't get shit.
I really do love how Swedish people hate their own language.
It's so
like,
bad.
What other country in the world do you know that mocks themselves?
Everybody does.
Apart from maybe the Irish, but other than that.
Every country in the world mocks the English, except Sweden. They mock themselves.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, that's it. I'm like swinging at Trovo over here.
See, he did the same thing I did. It's like a freaking little goblin.
He is a goblin.
He looks like the king goblin with like the horn on.
Yeah.
He's even weaker than a nightmare goblin, feels like. Any ogres or nightmare goblins? Who's weaker?
It's hard to tell. I think the nightmare ogres are actually weaker.
Nightmare ogres?
Yeah, because nightmare goblins either. Because I can one-shot the nightmare goblins. I can't one-shot these nightmare ogres. Normal ogres.
How can you not one-shot them?
I just cannot speak today. I may give up in a minute. Completely give up.
I give up.
Like flying unicorn ponies wrecking everything.
So I haven't set a time limit for today's stream. But we'll probably do between 1 and 2 hours. Then after that, I'll just turn it until I wake up naturally, and then I'll start messing with my soundboard.
Yeah, I will see how long I can be on because my mommy's called me. That's why I went.
I need freaking some of those 3.5mm into dual RCA cords. I hate to go to the Radio Shack and buy one.
I
feel like getting stuck again.
Yeah, but probably I can order it almost as much as you can ship it to me.
Yeah.
The thing is, I need it now on impulse so I can mess with this today.
I need it now! Help! I need it now!
I did buy in ahead of time with some of my other Amazon orders. I got some of the 1/8 inch male plugs into RCA adapters. Those are pretty good for mixers.
Yeah.
Why you guys know GG?
Yeah, 1/4 inch. Not 1/8 inch. How many millimeters is that? I know that the small one's 3.5mm, but what's the large one?
Yeah, that's what I always called the 1/8 inch, or the one, that's what I was thinking. I was like, wait a minute, that's the 3.5mm. Learn your terminology!
Yeah. Well, so, but I never have mentioned the 1/4 inch in millimeter. I don't even know if there is.
I have no idea.
Probably
it's probably some
4.5.
weird decimal, like, you know.
So, but just so that, but it's a standard across the world, right? So in Europe,
Yes.
So in Europe, you know, guys,
We use millimeters.
So
We use
right,
millimeters.
but you have the small headphone jack, which is a 3.5 millimeter.
Yeah.
So what's the big
What
one?
size is the bigger one?
My
Okay.
guess would. I think it's 4.5.
4.5.
Yeah,
That sounds about right. But
Something
how
like
could you
that.
have the guess? That would be like common knowledge.
It would be a standard thing, yeah.
What would
Yeah,
be a
I-
standard thing?
Because I don't use the 4.5s, so I never use them. So
You don't
I
have
never need to know.
man headphones that use 4.5 millimeter connections.
No, can't be fucked. I have cheap-
7.62 millimeter full
Actually, I
metal
think you just
jackets.
said it. I think it's like 6.3 millimeters. For some reason, when you said 6, that like popped into my head.
Yeah.
I gotta go look this up now.
Go
Yeah,
on, this is medium.
But
I never
but in
use
America,
them, so I never
you'll
bother.
see it used interchangeably. Sometimes people call it 1/8 inch, and sometimes they call it 3.5 millimeter. But I've never seen the larger quarter-inch addressed in millimeters before.
Which is the root of the question.
How many inches
Yeah.
is it?
1/8 or 1/4 of an inch, quarter-inch.
It's a quarter of an inch, yeah.
Okay.
Hence why we kept calling it a quarter inch.
Well, hold on. 1/8 of an inch, 1/4 of an inch, so 3.5
I
millimeters. So
hate
it's 7
this. I
millimeters.
keep seeing this freaking waterfall
We
here, and
fail
I
at
just want to
simple
go
math.
dive in.
We fail it, man.
That's why, 7 millimeters, which would be the 6.3 makes the most sense as far as specifics.
Well, no, if it's 3.5 for a 1/8 inch.
I don't think it's actually an 1/8 inch. I think they're actually smaller than an 1/8
Oh,
inch.
and then just generalize it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then, yeah, 6.3 sounds right to me. If not, if it is exact, then it would be exactly 7 millimeters, because doubling 1/8 inch to a
Right.
quarter inch, doubling 3.5 millimeters to
But
7.
then I don't think a quarter inch actually accurately maps out to a precise number in millimeters.
Yeah. Well, also, just thinking about it, it doesn't really seem like a quarter inch. It seems like it's smaller than that.
Yeah. Well, no, the quarter inch actually is about a quarter inch.
Freaking waterfall.
I just looked. I'm like, oh wait, we're only on wave 11.
Yeah, it's best
Yeah.
not to look.
Ah,
Three
how you got
waves
this?
left.
It's like when you're at work and you're waiting for the last hour to go by.
Just drag on.
It's like
and
Rumble in
on.
the Jungle. You start on like wave 8 and you go all the way to wave 14.
And I love how I always get trolled the last 10 minutes at work when I'm like really waiting for those last 10 minutes and it says like, 7:50 and it looks like 7:58. I'm like, yes, 2 minutes. And then 2 minutes later I check and it's like 7:52. I'm like, son of a...
Why you troll me, clock?
Riot, you need to learn to G faster.
No, I'm deliberately trolling you guys now. Wahaha.
Learn to G.
Troll my kick, bitch.
Mistletoe kick? That's not a kick. Sorry. If anyone gets that, I'll be surprised.
Oh, Zaltius is on.
I know, I've already said hey.
Which I don't think I said his name right.
Doctus.
Zaltis? Yeah. That's what I would have went with.
I would have probably gone with some weird Swedish pronunciation, just because that sounds weird to everything, so.
If in doubt, put it in Swedish.
Yes.
Seems perfect.
I remember the time when you tried
We're
to
just gonna
speak
give everyone
Swedish.
generic
It was
names
horrible.
since we call Rias Bob.
Yeah.
We'll just call him Jake. We'll be, hey
Yeah,
Zaltius.
and the trouble is now Chuck.
How?
The trouble is now Chuck.
No, I don't want to be Shock.
I'll be Chuck,
Wanna be
because I'll be
Larry.
freaking Chuck Norris.
No.
Dual wielding law
No
and
Chuck
justice with my
Norris, no,
barbarian.
shush.
No Chuck Norris. I want no copyright.
Yeah.
One of the greatest things about the EV is that if you have a big weapon model, it doesn't freaking like stick through enemies, so you can't shoot them.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
It's like
no matter how
weapon
big your
model.
weapon.
Really? Weapon model? What's that?
That was such an annoyance with the Huntress. When I get like a giant minigun, I had a really good minigun back in the day. Well, there we go, I got unstuck. Yeah, I had a huge minigun. It was the best weapon I had by far, and I spent a lot of money upgrading it, and then all of a sudden I found it was totally useless because every time I got into any kind of hard confrontation, the enemies would get too close to me and I would just start shooting up at the ceiling. It's like, what are
That
you...
always happened to me. I also had a good big minigun.
Yeah, I've got a huge minigun at the moment, but it doesn't matter. It fits in anything.
Isn't that an oxymoron, a huge minigun?
Yes, it is.
Suppose so.
It's also a really good innuendo.
Yes, that was what came to my mind immediately.
That's what I was aiming
Even
for,
more
to be
so when he
fair.
said it doesn't matter. I'm like, well, why doesn't it matter? Oh, never mind.
Because it fits in anything.
It's not
And
the
that's
size
the
of your
end
minigun,
of
it's how
that.
fast it shoots.
I see a few problems that we might have on Nightmare.
Yeah,
Mainly
I see a
this
lot of
north
problems.
point.
Well, this
Because
build is not
Jin's-
really geared for Nightmare.
Yeah,
Yeah, like
but
we have
Jins
double-
keep on
we have, like-
flying over this ledge
And we have
trying to
double
do some
harpoons at
moves
some of
and-
these crystals where they're like not even shooting the wyverns or facing the wyverns very well.
Well, I got a couple of them they're pointed across the crystal because of spiders.
Yeah.
Spiders?
Unfortunately, Jins keep on floating up behind them and trying to desummon them, so
Yeah,
Yeah.
we
this,
can't win either way at the
this
moment.
map will be difficult on Nightmare, and I don't even know if there's anything really worth
And
doing
next
for.
week we get a new update with a new baddie.
We get
Another
fucking
bad guy.
land
Yep,
shark.
and we get the we get Sharkmen, and the Sharkmen they've reconfigured Nightmare mode to incorporate Sharkmen.
So all of our maps are now going to have Sharkmen in them.
And this is why
Yes.
people are asking me why I'm not doing any new tutorials. And it's apparent.
Exactly.
And the
Yes.
guy, the head
The
of
endless buy
Trendy.
endless buys tutorials will never come out.
I was
The
looking in the
the
forums.
only-
The Trendy's head guy. He came on. He said that the Sharkmen. He kind of was like he 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 waha. He said these bad guys. Pretty much what he said was wahaha. He said these guys are going to make you have to rethink your physical tower usage.
as
like, oh,
if
yay.
Jins and spiders
So,
don't.
so it's going to be bye-bye harpoons. They're going to be resilient to physical
Well,
attacks,
Jins
and you
can
have to
desummon
use
everything.
elemental.
Yeah, Jins desummon everything. Spiders can only deal with only really attack physical towers.
My guess is you're going to have to use elemental attacks to kill these Sharkmen.
My guess is they're trying to put the electric aura back.
But because of the other stuff that they're pulling together, it does make it. It does make it interesting. It does make it interesting with the change to make the Jin interruptible with a barbarian or with a EV shock beam. It makes the shock beam more viable, and it makes the lightning stance more viable, if only barely.
The shock beam not so much because Jins are so random about where they start to desummon things from.
But no, if they fly over it, it'll
No, but you're not going to
trigger
throw.
it.
You're not going to throw it out in the middle of
Be
the show.
right
I don't
back.
think. I don't know if we'll have enough DU to do that for very many builds.
I don't know. But basically, we won't be doing any more tutorials until
Except for, well, actually, I take that back. On the builds where we use a proxy by walls, we could replace the proxy with a shock beam
Yeah.
because it does kind of the same thing.
or about the same DU, really.
But the thing is,
Yeah.
because they're ranged, they can still desummon the shock beam from a distance before it hits them.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, there
and
won't be
they'll
any
go for the
more
closest thing. So
tutorials.
if you put it out in front to protect all your other stuff, they're just. So to make this work, what they have to do is they have to program the AI for the Jin to not desummon shock beams, so they will walk
if
past
they
it.
didn't desummon shock beams,
Either
then
that
it's
or
perfect.
change their desummon range.
Fuck.
That wouldn't work because then you wouldn't have to worry about it anymore. They just get right up on your towers and die.
Yeah.
So they need to make it so that they do not aggro onto shock beams. Otherwise, it won't work because if they're further back in your defenses, then they're not going to hit them. And they're up front, they're just going to stay back and desummon it. Now the barbarian thing will work, but the barbarian thing needs you need to be able to see them and get to them. Is the only problem.
Yeah, so they need to tone down the Inferno trap.
I need to find a way
lot.
to bind my barbarian stances to my mouse keys so I can turn them on and off real easy.
Yeah.
Using a Naga.
No, I don't have a Naga. I
You
don't-
need to get one.
I don't,
They are
I don't like
fucking
Razor
good.
stuff. It's overpriced and under quality.
Yeah.
I had a
the
Razor
Razor
Mamba
Naga
and,
is
and
amazing.
I've gone through 3 different Razor